Hey everyone, welcome to JP Counselor. I'm JP, and this is the comment section. Welcome back to the comment section. This week's comment goes to Aaron. So Aaron, this week we talked about solution-focused brief therapy and narrative therapy. And I wanted to take a few moments to recognize some of the things that you had noted and also give some of my thoughts. So in this week's work, you had noted that solution-focused brief therapy and narrative therapy are both postmodern theories versus the modern theories that rely on objective truth. So these are postmodern theories relying on the client's subjective view of truth. You also noted how solution-focused brief therapy is focused on quick change to the client's problem, and how narrative therapy has no real time constraints. So solution-focused brief therapy, short, and narrative therapy, no real time limit. I also wanted to add to that the Corey 2021 textbook notes that solution-focused brief therapy focuses on the solution rather than the problem. And so to the point where the solution-focused brief therapy doesn't even try to address or give any attention to how the problem occurred in the first place. And when you had stated how short it was, it's short to the point where the Corey 2021 textbook notes that the average length of therapy is about 3 to 8 sessions, with one being the most common. The Corey textbook also notes that narrative therapy allows the client to tell their story. And so it may show how this negative time in their life is just a negative chapter, or just one chapter along the course of their entire life. So you had also noticed that solution-focused brief therapy, like one of the benefits was that it was good for counselors with a small caseload, but it may not accommodate all the client's problems just because it's so short. I wanted to add that it may also make the client feel invalidated because the counselor is giving little to no attention to the problem itself and how the problem occurred. Now, narrative therapy, you had noted how the benefits are the counselor uses skillful questions, and if they are able to use those skillful questions effectively, then they may be able to bring out more through open-ended questions. While if they're not executed properly, they may come out unauthentic and mechanical. The Corey 2021 textbook also notes that therapy focuses on the client's story in their environment. So it may also be a very appropriate form for those that are culturally diverse clients. So as far as compatibility with Christian concepts, you had noted that both focus on the positive aspects of human nature and how that can be a con as well. And I can totally agree with that. The Tan textbook from 2011 describes that all people are created in the image of God, just like Genesis chapter 1 verses 26 says, but also it may conflict with the fallenness of human nature that's described in Romans chapter 3 verse 23 and throughout the Bible. And those verses are coming from the New American Standard Bible from 1995. And you had also noted how both are subjective in letting the client determine what's right and wrong. And this may also take away from the need for Christ described in John chapter 3 from the New American Standard Bible. Now, as far as creating measurable outcomes, you had noted that in solution-focused brief therapy, there may not be enough time to deal with all the problems. And in order to meet that measurable goal standard described by the Schwitzer and Lawrence textbook in 2015, solution-focused brief therapy uses scaling questions. So 1 to 10, how is your depression today? And then moving throughout counseling, 1 being the least depressed and 10 being the most depressed. So that may be an effective way to measure. Solution-focused brief therapy also uses a miracle question as described by the Corey 2021 textbook. So asking questions like, if things were different, or if this problem didn't exist, or if this problem was resolved, how would life be different? And so using that as a way to have a goal to move towards. Now, you had noted that narrative therapy, that there's not much research regarding its effectiveness versus other studies. And I totally agree with that. That's what the Corey 2021 textbook describes. But one of the things I wanted to add is Corey notes that narrative therapy involves the use of letters, where the client will write themselves a letter, or the counselor will write a letter to the client. And this letter can be used at a later time to see where they were at the very beginning of counseling versus where they were at the end of counseling. And that's it for this week's comment section. I really appreciated your comment, Aaron. and your original video. And I really look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a great week. And please take a moment and look at the references that are linked in the description of this video so that you can use those for the references that were made in this video. Thank you guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you all next time.